you blamed those statements on Mr. Stephen Miller at the White House, did you not?
No, sir, I did not. And in fact, where you're seeing that is in a news article of anonymous sources. And anonymous sources say a lot of things, but I have never said that at all.
Well, here's what you said on the record. I'm going to read your words. Quote, everything I've done at the direction of the president and Stephen.
Sir, where did you see me say that at? You read that in a news article with no sources affiliated to it.
You said it on the record on January 27th of 2026. Did I read your words accurate?
I enjoy working with the president and with Stephen Miller, and that day we were working to get as much information to the American people as possible. That is what we'll continue to do, and as that happens, we'll go forward.
Do you think it was fair to blame Mr. Miller?
Sir, I did not do that. You're reading from a newspaper article with
yes, ma'am.
Anonymous sources.
Are you denying that you said that?
Sir, I'm not going to speak to that situation that is relayed on anonymous sources that no one has heard me say that.
It was you.
No. Who reported that to that newspaper?
They're quoting you on the record saying it's Stephen.
The Department of Homeland Security's ad campaign has a money trail that's been shrouded in secrecy. It involves $220 million taxpayer dollars, a mysterious Delaware LLC, and a horse named Gil.
I'm Kristi Noem. Break our laws, we'll punish you.
Noem has hailed this ad campaign as a crucial tool to stem illegal immigration. So crucial that DHS bypassed the normal competitive bidding process that federal contracts go through. On public documents, the main recipient of the $220 million was a Delaware LLC created days before the deal was signed. But ProPublica found a secret beneficiary, the Strategy Group, a consulting firm with long-standing personal and business ties to Noem and her senior aides. The Strategy Group played a central role in Noem's 2022 re-election campaign for South Dakota governor, and the CEO is married to Noem's chief spokesperson at DHS. Read ProPublica's full investigation at the link in bio.
You're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here. Not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.
Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught. You will be removed, and you will never return. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. If you break it, you'll find consequences. Strong borders mean a stronger America. President Trump is making America safe again.
Madam Secretary, I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States, you identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell you about it.
According to
Madam
law,
Secretary,
it was done by
address is
officials.
registered to a political
It was
operative.
dollars that were spent
Madam Secretary, the company,
inform
and then I'll give you an
people
opportunity to
that the
respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered apparently or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota.
The passage where you talk about a dog that was 14 months old. I train dogs, all right? And you are a farmer. You should know better. You should know that if you're going out to a hunting lodge and you're putting pheasants out and you're putting dogs out, you don't take a puppy out there. A 14-month-old dog is basically a teenager in dog years. You decided to kill that dog because you had not invested the appropriate time in training, and then you have the audacity to go into a book and say it's a leadership lesson about tough choices. It's in your book. We could play it if we had time. At that same lunch hour, you killed the goat. And you killed the goat because you said it was behaving badly. You are a farmer. You don't castrate a goat. They behave badly. You should have probably done that before. But my point is, those are bad decisions made in the heat of the moment, not unlike what happened up in Minneapolis. I expect we're an exceptional nation. And one of the reasons we're exceptional is we expect exceptional leadership. And you've demonstrated anything but that in the time that I've seen you responding to the emergency in North Carolina and across the Southeast, and acknowledging when mistakes are made, and speaking too soon for the expedient of social media or whatever it is.
Secretary Noem, do you know what the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution says?
Search and seizure processes.
Yep. What about it? What about search and seizure?
It guarantees the right to a lawful search and seizure.
It protects individuals against unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. And I ask you that because I've sent you 3 different letters going back to February of 2025 raising concerns that you are unlawfully detaining U.S. citizens in violation of the Fourth Amendment. It was not until yesterday afternoon, more than a year after I sent you my first letter, that I finally received a response from you stating that ICE has detained 18 U.S. citizens. I want to introduce you to just 4 of the U.S. citizens unlawfully detained by ICE who are not even included in the 18 individuals that you cite in your response to me. So let me ask each of the U.S. citizens in the audience who were detained. Raise your hand if you were not charged with any crime following your detention. Now raise your hand if any of you were not even asked to prove that you were U.S. citizens during your detention. Now please raise your hand if you were detained by ICE simply for legally protesting or monitoring ICE activity under your First Amendment rights. Secretary, these are not 4 isolated incidents. ProPublica's reporting puts the number at over 170 U.S. citizens detained in just the first 8 months of the administration, which doesn't even include Operation Metro Surge in Minnesota. DHS is supposed to be protecting our residents and upholding constitutional protections, but you've turned that on the head. You have actually turned the United States government against its own residents, and you've had multiple chances to take accountability, to apologize to these folks and others across the country, but you have failed to do it. yours is a case of failed leadership, Secretary. You need to resign, be fired, or be impeached.
Yeah, the time of the
because
gentlelady.
you don't have the right to lead this
The time
agency.
of the gentlelady has.
I yield.
When you detain an American citizen, how long do they last?
We don't detain American citizens, and if there's probable cause.
Let me give you, because you are not speaking truthfully under oath. Isaiah Pena Salcedo, a U.S. citizen living in California, was detained more than 70 hours, almost 3 days, even after he showed ICE agents his passport. Are you aware of your officers' activities at our public schools?
Sir, we don't go into schools and do targeted law enforcement operations. We do targeted law enforcement operations like other agencies
So you're
and law
telling me that
enforcement
ICE officers entered the grounds of a high school in Minneapolis? That's a fact. Elementary school children in New Jersey are terrified of your agents. When they came upon a school bus stop, they fled. Secretary Noem, these are kids. This is a reckless and out of control agency that you are responsible for. You seem to have no situational awareness whatsoever of some of the most egregious examples of Americans being completely attacked, violated, undermined in accordance with our laws by their own government. And this is what is phenomenal to me, is immigration was your president's #1 issue. Overwhelmingly popular with the American people, but now it's overwhelmingly unpopular. And it's not because you are deporting dangerous people that everybody here wants out of our country. No, it's because you're going into our schools. You're terrorizing our children. You're detaining children. You're arresting Americans. You're breaking into our homes. You're terrorizing our streets. You're violating our rights to peacefully protest again and again and again.
None of
and then
that
when
is
a
true.
court tells you
None
to
of
stop,
that is true.
and then when a court
You are
tells
trying
you to stop,
to impede
you
us
violate
from enforcing
judges'
the law
orders. Not in
and
a
getting
partisan
dangerous
way,
criminals off of our streets
Republican-appointed
so
and
we don't have more
Democratic-appointed.
families like the ones that are sitting
Sit
behind
there
me.
and tell me that
Lost
you are
their children. They're
responsible
gone forever.
for the running of your agency when you're not even aware. Either you are utterly incompetent or you are violating laws with impunity. You should step down from your position. If you don't, you should be removed by this president. And if not, Congress should impeach you.
I appreciate the encouragement.
So this is your brother Van Silk. I'm speaking because Kristi Noem has got fired. You know what? I actually love my job. I like this. I like that. You heard that in the background. But let me say this here. This is Common Sense with Van Silk. I'm here. I'm there. I'm everywhere. I'm on Rumble.com. I'm on TikTok.com. I'm on YouTube.com. Common Sense with Van Silk. Now, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary. I always thought she was very nasty. Nasty demeanor, nasty disposition. Everything about her was nasty. Now, as before I came on here, y'all seen the videos of her and her campaign ad. Woo! $200 million in a campaign ad spent. That's more than the Titanic movie. But not on top of that, the campaign ad went to a company that was involved with her husband, a company that got the bid that was only in business for 8 days. But you know, on Capitol Hill, they had the hearings, and all the Democrats been asking her the same questions over and over and over again. And then, how about her and her relationship with Corey Ladowski, you know, who is married and she's married? But it took the Republican Kennedy, the Republican, to question her, to say, hey, something ain't right here, and for Donald Trump to act like he didn't know anything about this campaign, because he always gave her praise. You know, the way, everything that she's done, she's the same one, her and Stephen Miller came out and said that, you know, Pretti and Renee Good were terrorists and all that. She was just nasty. You know, she had a home on an army base, and she's private jet and all this and all that. Now she's got a job that don't even know where this is all about. You know what? I am just so happy. I'm ecstatic. Next got to be Pam Bondi. But you know, we got to know where that money went. $200 million. That's not even a movie, an ad campaign. You ain't buy major ads on TV, and then it's not even in Spanish. Talking about immigrants. You riding a horse. You know what? Once this midterm election's over and they get at you your ass is going to jail. Y'all don't worry about Jasmine Crockett because she's going to be good. Because she's going to be good. Her term is over in November. She'll leave office in January or however it's done. She's a year out. The next regime will come in. She got a job. But meanwhile, go check out the nasty disposition of Kristi Noem. I always say she was just nasty. Her and Pam Bondi is just some nasty, low IQ. Whew. They're just nasty. Nasty. I'm out.
I know you said it's garbage, and it may be, but I really think you need to say the word no into the record so that you can clear that up.
I think the ridiculousness of this and the tabloids that you are quoting and referencing are insane. And this has been
So that's a no?
something that I've refuted for years, and I continue to do that.
So it's a
what
no.
I would tell you is
we
when
can move
in
on.
regards
Hold
to
on,
what you're
Madam Senator,
doing,
we can move on. I'm not going to belabor it. If it's
this is what you do.
Hold on,
Socialist,
I'm not doing anything.
Liberal left
Okay.
is you go off and you attack conservative women, and you say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
All right, so listen.
And that's what you do.
Yesterday,
and I will tell
Richard,
you, sir,
yes, reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday. You were asked by Richard Blumenthal yesterday if Corey was involved in approving contracts. You said no. Do you want to correct that?
What I would say is that he has an advisor to the Department of Homeland Security, has no decision-making
Madam Secretary,
authority.
do you want to correct it, yes or no? You don't want to correct it? Fine.
No decision-making
Not-
authority,
hold
no
on.
role in
Not a
contract.
problem. According to one of the FEMA administrators that you fired, there is nothing, including contracts, that is brought to you that he hasn't reviewed. In fact, a significant amount of DHS internal routing documents has his signature on it above deputy secretaries. Okay, that former FEMA administrator wasn't fired by you, the secretary. He was fired by Corey. It was Corey that called him into your office. It was Corey that made him to submit to a polygraph test. The $100,000 spending rule that you created that comes to your desk, you're not even sitting at your desk. It's Corey who's sitting there. ISIS said the Republicans should be happy at the job that you're doing. Really? You're looking at the person who single-handedly took the president's signature core issue, immigration, the issue that got him elected from 59% to 39%. 200 miles of border walls being held up by you. They had to bring in Tom Homeland, pull out of Minnesota. I think the country needs a national divorce from you on biblical grounds. I mean, if Donald Trump was still apprentice Trump, he would look at you and he would realize you're the weakest cabinet member and he would fire you. And if the president said to you that only way DHS could reopen is if you resigned, I hope you would take him up on it. Now, I want to end on a happy note, Mr. Chairman, real quickly. The president gave all sorts of stuff out during the State of the Union. I don't want you to leave. I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you. You don't leave empty-handed when you come to judiciary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
Could you explain this?
Sir, I'm looking at a picture of an interior. Looks like a bedroom.
Of an airplane?
Yes, sir.
You're not familiar with that?
These photos are not accurate. If you're referring to the airplanes that the Department of Homeland Security has purchased, that is dictated in statute by Congress for the Department of Homeland Security to have a plane.
Luxury jet with a bedroom in it?
Yeah, we used a 737. I've been on it once. The department has found that in purchasing our aircraft, that we will save the taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars.
Does it have a bedroom in
In fact, we
How is this saving taxpayers' money?
spent $1.442 billion on ICE deportation flights
Does it
last
have a bedroom
year.
in it?
Why do you need a bedroom on a plane?
I believe it's being refurbished.
What kind of deportee justifies being flown out of the country in a luxury jet with a bedroom and accommodations like this?
There are aircraft being purchased that will be utilized for executive air travel and for deportations.
Senior administration officials have described these airplane purchases as the world's worst deal and an abuse of federal funds.
How long are we supposed to allow these people to sit in these positions and continue to lie to Congress, and they're lying under oath, and they claim that the well-being of their existence is for the American people, yet they're stealing from the American people? How do you not think this is a crime? You literally robbing the American people to a point where you are taking money out of their pockets and then you're demanding them to pay taxes and they are struggling to make it. That is like completely heartless. It's complete robbery. It's like telling people, give me your money or else. I got things to do. I want to live in luxury. I want to be able to just provide for my family. Or either better yet, I just want to fly across the world in a plane that has a bed. What sense did it make? Explain to me why Homeland Security would need an airplane with a minimum of 2 bedrooms and a shower at the expense of taxpayers, while there are people in this world struggling to figure out if they're going to have something to eat in the next couple of days. That's inhumane.
Electrical grid and our critical infrastructure such as water and systems that we rely on every day to help the American people be safe and to still have their way of life. We also have CISA, which some of you may have worked with them, which is our cybersecurity agency, which goes out and not only hunts down bad actors that would attack us.
Kristi Noem has been fired, consistent with what we have demanded on behalf of the American people. But let me also make clear, a change in personnel is not sufficient. We need a change in policy. And that has to be bold, dramatic, transformational, and meaningful.